Name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, one God, Amen. Please, if you have mobile phone, just put in vibrate or anything. I'm not going to be long. I know it's a long day for you and for me and for everyone. About 15 minutes and we'll finish. As we know, end of the world, last 2 weeks in Coptic years. So always the church talk about the end of the world. Like I explained today in the sermon. Last week always the reading from Book of Mark chapter 13. And next week all the reading from Book of Matthew chapter 24. So the disciples bring Jesus in front of the temple and they want to show him the temple, how beautiful the temple. He looked to the temple and told them, this temple will be destroyed, and there is no stone will be surviving or no stone on top of another stone anymore. So they told him, tell us the sign. Because the Jewish in that time, they think the temple, when the temple destroyed, can be end of the world. So when Jesus gives them sign, was sign temporary on the time they leaving, sign for the destroying of the temple, and this sign is to help before end of the world too. So they have double symbol for the time being, and the prophecy full will be happening in end of the world. And as a spiritual sign, what we take for ourselves. So that was about. I choose only one verse, and this verse we will talk about today. The verse, the book of Matthew 24, chapter 24, verse 29, what they say, immediately after the tribulation of these days, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light, and the star will fall from heaven, and the power of the heaven will be shaking. وللوقت بعد ضيق تلك الأيام تظلم الشمس والقمر لا يعطي ضوءه والنجوم تتساقط من السماء وقوات السماء تتزعزع. What's this for us as a servant? What's the sun? Anyone who know what the sun? The sun is Jesus Christ himself, presenting Jesus Christ. From where we bring it? From Book of Malachi, chapter 4, verse 2. Can you read for us? Book of Malachi, chapter 4, verse 2. Okay? Someone bring it. So Jesus Christ, always the church present him by the sun. That's why in any picture Coptic you found the sun, and you found moon and the stars on the picture in the church, special حضن الآب. Okay, anyone who bring it? Book of Malachi. Good. Yeah, Daniel, read for us.
But you who fear my name, the Son of Righteousness shall arise with healing in his wings, and you shall go out and grow fat like stall-fed cows.
Okay, the scholar of the church says that Son Jesus, but when the sun gets darkness, what this means? People they start to know doesn't know God strongly like before. That's why the sun gets dark. The knowledge of God not as strong as before. People start to get busy with some another stuff, not to know the God and to grow. We explain this and we go step by step. Number 2, the moon. What the moon presenting? Presenting the light coming out of the church. What the church is doing for the people outside. That's the moon. So number 1, the sun get dark. Number 2, the moon not going to give light anymore. Number 3, the star will fall down. Who's the star? The servant will fall down. Okay? So that's the end of the world sign to happen, and people will remember. So what the spiritual people talk about these 3 to know? Number 1, the knowledge of Christ getting very poor. What does this mean, getting very poor? People, they said, we have enough knowledge. It's enough for me, I pray in the morning. It's enough for me, I read 1 verse or 2 verses, or I read once a week. When the people start to come like this, that's a sign end of the world. What this means? They start to get busy about something else, not God. The world attracts them more. The world grabs them more from God. And that's what we happening here nowadays. How long we spend in front of TV to watch a movie or something, 3, 4 hours or 2 hours, or the internet, how long, and how long do we sit in front of Bible? Just 5 minutes, we get bored, we close it, or just 5 minutes, I pray, and thank God it's enough for me. That's all the sign end of the world. The love of the people to God getting very poor. Okay? That's why the God, he told them, when you see the sun start to get darkness, Why the sun get darkness too? From the sin of people. God, even if you pray and you are a sinner, He not listen to you. He told them in the book of Isaiah chapter 1, verse 15, when you start to pray, I will hide my face not to look to you. Why? Get it, Daniel, quick. Because your hand is full of blood. Because the sin you do, firstly go confess about your sin and come pray in front of me. Start, Daniel. 15, please. Isaiah 1:15.
When you spread out your hands, I will hide my eyes from you. Even though you make many prayers, I will not hear. Your hands are full of blood.
That's all this one sign of end of the world. The knowledge of Christ started getting poor. People, they not repent. So God, He said, that's why the sun can get dark. Very important, we as a servant or as a Christian, as we grow in body, we need to grow in the spirit. If I got a student in year 5 and next year I ask him, which year you are in the school now, what can I tell me? 6. But if he told me I'm in year 5, what I can say? He has to repeat the year. Okay, if another year I ask him which year in the school, and they told me I'm year still 5. What I think about this boy? Something wrong. Maybe we think he's dumb, or maybe we think he is not interested, or maybe he has to get private tutoring, or something wrong with him. If the servant, the same year, the same level of spirituality, the same chapter he reads, the same only one chapter a day, the same one prayer only a day, this year and next year and next year and next year, do you think that's a good sign? Definitely not. If you put a seed on the soil and give them some water and they start go up, every day we put water, or every second day, whatever. What happens every week? What we found is this small plant, they grow. That's right. They never can stop. They have to grow. We as a Christian, as we grow in the body, we need to grow in the spirit. So that's why our knowledge between us, as we are as a Christian, our knowledge with God must get stronger and must get deeper. Okay? Very important. I remember His Holiness Pope Shenouda, when he was teaching us, he said, I never sleep without to read something new, to know something new, even not have to be spirituality, science, medical, everything. Have a look, any questions they ask the Pope about it. He has a knowledge. He said, many times I was reading until I sleep, and they take the pen from me, the pen, the ink pen, they found the ink leak on the cover or the bed or whatever. One of his disciples take it and cover him. Start reading and writing until he fully sleep. Why? He know how important the time. He know how important our life. One like Abuna Dawood Lam'i. Have a look to hear his sermon. Every time you hear new sermon, new stuff, writing books, give sermon. This servant, they know the life very valuable. They know every day I have to do something new. I remember my confession father, even during the confession, he hear you and was writing. These people, they know the time very important. They want to know more about Christ. They want to know more about God. They haven't got time to waste. That's why they found these people go up this way and we struggle up and down, up and down, up and down. So it's very important. So number 1, the sun get dark. Number 2, the moon. The moon is not going to give light anymore. We as a servant, we have to be lighting around others. The moon, when you see the light of the moon, it's not sharp. It's a soft light. But if you are in the darkness and you see the full moon, what's it doing in the street? You found the street full. I remember when I was in army and we have full moon, I love this time. Why? I used to get books and I read. Desert, we used to, in army, in the desert, you have no light, you have nothing. But when the moon full, look how you can read in the moon. Very strong light. But because everything is dark around the moon and around the desert. So we as a servant, we should be shine around people. Shine by what? by lead as example. You not have to shout, you not have to scream, you not have to do anything, but you can lead by example. Nice, soft smile. How are you, Daniel? Long time didn't see you. Visit him. All this one coming from the servant. The moon, his light, soft light, but effective on the dark people, and effective around the people. All right? One of the servants, he's a priest now, he said, I was traveling between Cairo to Alexandria in the train, and who sat next to me? One monk. So, you know, the trip from Cairo to Alexandria, about 4 hours. So he know I'm a Christian, you know, from the cross in my hand, I was reading Agbe and so on. The monk even didn't say anything. So after 1 hour, you know, this boy, the UCB as a priest, after I told him, Abuna, tell me, you know, word of benefit or kelmet manfa'a. Abuna didn't talk at all. He get a small paper from his pocket and give it to him. He said, I opened the paper, he said, Jesus Christ, please save me. Jesus Christ, please protect me. Jesus Christ, please have mercy on me. I am praising you, Jesus Christ. Remember me in your prayer, Abuna Angelus Suriani. And he gave it to him. He didn't talk, he gave it to him. He said this paper in his pocket. Later on, I know he coming from Cairo. He was, the Pope sent him to serve in one church in Alexandria. He was looking after huge church. The priest went to America and they look after Abuna Angelus Suriani. He passed away now. But he said he was serving a lot of youth, a lot of people in the church, and only what he said about this word gave him this prayer to repeat, and was very effective, and it changed a lot of people. Not have to talk. He gave a paper, a small paper, effective, a prayer, and he was shining around people around him. So the star will get darkness, the moon, he not gonna give light, the sun can get darkness, the moon not gonna give light, the star will fall down. The star will fall down the servants. We hear a lot of servants start with us, but where they are now. Why the person fall down? If he not strong, he will fall down. If he coming for different reason, the service, or he not interested from beginning, he will fall down. If he coming the church and the service, and you know, and instead of he helping, he, you know, the service, what I want to say, بتعمل له هم أو هموم. What's it gonna be in English? I'm sure. هم.
Worries.
Worries. وحطها على دماغه أكن يعني he carry a lot of loads. I have to prepare the lesson again. Oh my God. It's not my turn. That's to be Bishoy turn. Why he didn't do his turn? That's a blessing when you prepare the lesson. Okay?
Hold on.
All right. All right. So how many people bowled? Some bowl he remembers it. Them. They said they start with me the service, and I remember their name now was tears. What happened to Dimas? Dimas is one of the people who start service with him. He said he left me because he loved the world more than he loved me. And he left the service. Okay, a lot of people, they start the service and they not continue. A lot of people, they not continue because they bored. What does mean bored? Bored spirituality. They think, all right, I'm graduate, I be a servant, that's my job ends. Like when you graduate from university and you start work, that's it, thank God I finished my 4 years degree, that's it, I'm not going to study again. That's not for the service. You need to grow again to step one. You need to be up and up and up. The servant, he not prepare something new, always he found him bored. Bored for knowledge, he can start to get boring and people already, he repeat what he know. You can't do this. You have to always read. You have to always hear. You have to always look for the new stuff, make people attractive, the lesson attractive, people can listen to you. Our job to bring people to Christ, not to lose people from the church. So the the star will fall down. When I think I'm a servant and people come after the sermon, oh, this is very good sermon. Do you know what I go home I do? Right away I will read Habib Gerges, or I have a tape for Baksh, that they call لأنك تركت محبتك الأولى. This beautiful tape. What he said inside, he said, remember when you come to the church, was standing in the back, no one know you. Now you think you are a servant, people will ask you questions, so be careful to lose your first love to God. Habib Gerges, when you looked what he done in the church, you looked to yourself, you said, we are nothing compared to one person. He changed the history of all the Orthodox Church. There is the three types of people. People, they live history. People read history. People make history. Okay? So you choose which one you want to be. You only read history of people, or you want live the history for like Baksh, that we are lucky to live in his history, or you want to be a servant to make history. Okay? So very important to know what you want to do in your service to be successful servant. The service is a gift from God. Imagine God, he can bring these people, all people to him. But out of he humble, he take us to use us to give us this, to give us this reward and the gift and to get the blessing to serve with him. We are lucky to serve with him. People servant bring people to Christ, it's a big reward from God. Imagine someone, he lost his son. How many people will lose in the church? Someone lose his son for 3-4 years, and you tell him, look, I found your son. What this man cannot do to you? He tell you, ask for whatever you want, I will give you. If you do a lot of sin and you bring people to Christ, he can forgive your sin to bring people back. Definitely confess. But imagine to bring people to Christ. That's our main number one. We're not looking for easy service. We look for the hard service. I know Bisho in trouble. I visit him. I talk to him. I know someone, he got exam. I ring him before exam. All just the personal touch, very important. Because end of the day, the world attracts people very strong. We have to be a different. All right, last story I want to end with a girl. She has a problem in her home. There was very poor family and always have trouble with her family. The parents, big problem with them. So she gave up. She moved from her home. She went to work in another country in Egypt. When she started to work, definitely if the problem home like this girl from inside emotion not good. She went to one Muslim boy, he saw her, I love you and all this stuff. She married him only by favor, he was in his religion. She's still Christian, and she come to live with him in his home. She said they treat her like not a slave, less than a slave. They beat her, she has to clean, she has to cook, do all this one. And after this, she had a baby from him too. After all this happened to her, she started to wake up. Why I did all this to myself? She escaped from home and she went to one of the priests and she told him, Abuna, that's all what happened with me, what I do. I told her, listen, God still love you. He can come back anytime. She said, how can I come back with my little daughter? He said, but you have to repent and God will fix everything. She started to come back to the church. She started to pray and ask God for forgiveness. And for the mistake she done, she said, all right, I come back. And she got her daughter, give it to one of the family, Christian families, they have no kids. She come back to the church, she repent. She said after this, time, God rewarded her for a good husband. He know her all his story and he married her. But look, Abuna, to encourage her to give up all what she was, to come back to the church. Abuna, maybe if he told her, don't come, you deny your Christ, you already have children for him, what's going to happen to her? Here, she cannot go hell. But again, people away, you can talk to them, you bring them a big reward in the heaven. So number one, the sun can get dark. Number two, the moon not can give light. Number three, the star can fall down. Glory be to God forever and ever. Amen. Any question? Thank you very much. Pray, remember me in your prayer.